Hello and welcome to another Devlog introducing session. And today I'm introducing State of You, and the singer is here. Stephen, pleased to meet you. How are you
Please
doing,
see
man?
you. I'm good, man. I'm literally like, um, I've been sick, and there's nothing better than coming out of being sick. I can feel it. The
Yeah,
light
man.
is like, that it's like when you have toothache, and then like, and it's gone. You're like, oh, and then
Yes.
like when you're sick, and you feel like your soul is just like that, and then you start coming back, and you start feeling like some sort of like here we go. This is it. This is it. I can
Nice.
handle life again. So yeah, that's it.
Good stuff,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Well, talking of coming back blazing, your new EP. See that? That's a segue there.
That was great.
on a knife's edge. It's absolutely blazing, mate. I had it on in my shop today, and I was absolutely grooving off it. It's a real it's like from the opening track to the ending track. It's really direct. It's really aggressive. I love it. Can you tell me? Because I listened to your first EP after hearing your second one. I'm just like, oh, now this was a step up in the aggression stakes. Was that an intentional move?
Well, first of all, thanks so much for saying that. You're the first person I know who's heard it in full, pretty much, apart from the label and the band. So that means a lot. Thank you so much.
Amazing.
Uh, you know what's funny? We had our drummer Nick went off to New Zealand for 6 months, and so we had Chris Kyber from Feed the Rhino fill in on drums. I remember
Right.
after we got the first thing back, he messaged me and was like, "Hey man, kind of like you sound like you've stepped it up a lot."
Mm.
I think if I'm honest, if I'm really honest, I was kind of nervous going into this one because it's a lot more melodic than the first one.
Right.
And I remember certain times like getting like these demos and being like, okay, what am I gonna do? You know what
Mm.
I mean? Kind of like I can't hide behind just heavy sort of guitars. Like, what am I going to do? Sort of thing. And I kind of was like, every now and then I put it on, but like, I still haven't clicked in. I haven't clicked in. And then it was right sort of before studio time, and then I was like, all right, here we go. And then it just sort of like went in, went in, went in. And I don't know whether it was just sort of like that approach maybe, but yeah, I guess so. I mean, it's it's pretty full on, you know what I mean?
Mm.
But I mean, our producer Oz Craggs, he's so good. Like he's just such a fantastic producer because he'll get me into this really confident place, and he's so quick when you see him like work. I mean, I like vocal demo at home, and I'm like, I drag that there, and he's just like, okay, again, and he'll be like, okay, we've got that, just go again, or he kind of knows that he'll be like, right, kind of, you're full on, you're low, you're high, sort of thing, and he just
Yeah.
gets me into this vibe. I only nearly passed out once. There's, I blame myself because I was like, I'm gonna do just a long held note like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I remember doing it, and I even sat out there and recorded. I was like, no one's gonna fucking believe I did this. This thing, I'm gonna fucking, here we go, like set up. And I remember, and I was like, and I went too early, and I sort of had my breath, and I went, I just held it for ages, and I remember going, and just having that like wobble thing, having some sort of stuff like that. But and then of course the beautiful, just like this thumping headache, and but I
Yeah.
got through it. We got it done. But thank you for saying that.
That's no problem, man. I mean, there were times when it reminded me of like really prime early gallows, like like when they were fully going for it. And yeah, and also there's a bit of Every Time I Die in there as well that I could hear poking through, which
Oh yeah.
I'm a big fan of.
Oh hey. I mean,
Like you got the hat on.
oh yeah, the many eyes.
Yeah,
I like both. I love Better Love Is. I thought New One was phenomenal. I'm
yeah,
like in the middle. I'm like two Christmases, mom and dad.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, like, first of all, like with Gallas, because I used to be in a band in around when they sort of came up called Outcry Collective, and they were like
yeah.
top dog, and kind of broke through the way they did. I was so lucky. I must have seen them, I'd say about 6 or 7 times, before sort
Mm.
of Frank left. And I mean that band was just, I sort of watched the All Blue Last, and it was like being in a tornado sort of thing.
Yeah, they were
And I
insane.
think what's so good about them, and every now and then I'll get drunk and message lags like, dude, man, you guys really were fucking, it's good to get to it. And they were just so unashamedly British. Do you
Mm,
know what I mean?
very
Like
much
I'm
so.
English, I don't sound English. So this is how I talk. I never have. but they just had that. My name is fuck yes, and you're just like
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, and every time I think I get because I remember that band in the Bronx.
Mm.
It's like when you like you hear music when you fucking you need to hear that
Yeah.
right when you get it, and it
Mm.
was right then. Someone gave me a hot damn. I remember I was playing this game called I don't know if you're a gamer. It's called Serious
Mm.
Sam. It's like a shooter, right?
Right.
And I remember hearing it. I was like, it just sounds like I don't really get it. And then it just clicked, and I was like,
Yeah.
all right. And there's something about Keith's voice which just sounds like you're just like, yeah, someone's fucking getting up saying this is all
Yeah.
fucking bullshit, regardless of what he's saying.
Yeah.
Just that tone of like
Yeah.
fucking, you know what I mean, like that. And
Yeah.
that's what I always connect with bands
Oh,
personally.
well, that gets me neatly onto my next thing, which what I'm getting from your music is you can hear the integrity and honesty in it, and from your vocal delivery, it's you sound like you fucking mean it, which is another thing that I get from every time I die. You know what I mean? What you were just saying there, I'm picking that up from you. You're not just phoning it in. You know what I mean?
George, thank you so much. Because I mean, kind of, that's kind of what I can do. You know
Yeah,
what I
right.
mean? It's like that thing I was talking to someone about it. Um, this wasn't talking with an acting sort of thing. They were working with someone. They were like, performances and stuff. And I was kind of like, the actors, they kind of like need to hit those sort of notes, right?
Mm.
And it's a bit like kind of, and if a singer doesn't hit a note, it's one thing. But if he's not giving it everything he can, for
Mm.
me, that's when I'm like, he's, kind
Yeah.
of, if you're gonna like give it some, like kind of give it some. Now, obviously, like replicating that for a full set is another story,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
it's like, especially now, I'm 41, nearly like I thought I was older than, but
Yeah.
and like we had our first practice there recently because Nick's come back from New Zealand, right?
Right.
And it was like and it's been like 8 months since we've played in a room together, and it was like my body was like on the shoulder, like, oh, are we doing this again? Like, are we really gonna do this again? And I was like that, but yeah, man, that means
I feel your
the
pain,
world to
man.
me. I tell you what, who's I literally I got into Johnny Booth maybe 2 years
Oh,
ago.
mate, love that band.
Oh, dude, that guy's vocals, that
Yeah.
that is as good as it get. I mean,
Yeah.
I just that's the one reason where like if I'm going through some bullshit and I'm like I said to my lady, I just need to get my car and the only thing I know is really going to work is heavy music.
Yeah.
Stick on that, and it's just he's so good.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
so good. Yeah.
Yeah, like one of the best kept secrets around at the moment, Johnny Booth. Actually, I think such a
I
good
want to
band.
see him live so bad.
Yeah,
I
man.
want it like every now and then. I just message them like, "You guys are really fucking good. We need a UK tour," and they're always
Yeah.
like, "Man, we're trying and everything." I'm like, "Cool." Right? And then a little while later, any news on UK tour? We won't see you.
Right. We share something in common, and it's actually something recently in common. I noticed in your press release that you said you had a late stage diagnosis of ADHD. I got mine yesterday, believe it or not.
Oh
Yeah.
wow!
Yeah,
I
after
I
3 years, man.
oh man, how old are you?
I'm 47.
Okay, all right, dude.
Yeah.
All right, man. That it's a big.
It's a big thing, isn't it?
I found out about 4 years ago, and we can talk more after this. But
Yeah.
I don't know. That must be so fresh and new for you. I
It's
mean,
well, I was diagnosed autistic first, so
yeah,
that was a shock. This next one was just like, yeah, I know. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, like, for me personally, it was this thing where I was like, why? How the fuck have I just found that's out?
Yeah,
And
right.
I think so much of it is you cover it
Masking.
because all you're doing is you're just craving stimulation the whole time, which is probably
Mm.
why we like heavy music because you're like,
Right.
it's this, and like there's such this. I remember when I was really young, and I was on tour, and I remember like being like 10 out of 10 confident on stage, that thing. But the next
Mm.
day, going into some shop to buy cigarettes, and I was like, how am I now so
Yeah,
reduced to this thing? And kind of, it's such a head fuck. That's awesome. You've been
yeah.
diagnosed. Like I said, I can, and I'm sure there's other people out there,
Oh yeah.
it's one book that I definitely recommend, and it is called delivered from distraction.
Mm,
That is, I've read so many books now like
mm,
that, and I think the best way someone can kind of has described it is it's like ADHD. It's like having a Ferrari,
mm,
and if you don't have the right fuel in it, you're
mm,
not gonna you're not gonna go where you need to go, sort of thing. And then when I'm sure you have, I mean, look what you're doing
mm,
right now. You know what I mean? You're creative, you getting shit going, right? It's like when you're passionate about something, you can
mm.
just go, go,
Oh,
go.
absolutely.
And then if you're in any situation which isn't driving you, like you just sort of
Yeah.
just start nodding off, or you
True
can go
that.
down that kind of like that dark sort of path. But yeah, man. I mean, like we can
Yeah.
happy your loads more about or now, but that
Yeah.
it's a big
Well,
step.
it ties in nicely with an interview I did just a few weeks ago with a guy called Eric Bass, who's the bass player from Shinedown.
Okay, yeah.
And he's also been quite public about the fact he's written an album about well, it's heavily influenced by neurodiversity. And we were talking about the creative process and how it can be like so useful in the creative process being neurodivergent because hyperfocus isn't always a bad thing, you know? I mean, it can be the best tool in your arsenal sometimes, you know?
Oh,
That attention
completely.
to detail and just yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, I have it where at least I've got my phone like lying on my laptop, and like in like COVID, I think I wrote 12 full feature scripts, and I
Mm,
did it just from literally sitting down and just going.
yeah.
And I can just go and go and go and go and go. I just spent because I'm sick. It doesn't sound like I'm sick now, but so I had one day left on the Xbox Games Pass. Right, I was like, I'm going to complete this Indiana Jones thing. I sat there and just was like, and I was like, and I got kind of close to the end, but then I did have to kind of like have a little bit of help from a walkthrough and stuff. But and then
Yeah,
the
man.
time will just go, and that's what's annoying is time when you're not getting stimulated by something goes by so slowly, and then when it's something that you like, it just goes by like that,
Absolutely.
and you're like, man, it's 3 a.m. and
Yeah.
I've got to be up at whatever I am, and I'm so happy right now. I finally found my
My
flow
thing.
state or whatever. I'm at one with the universe. Like I finally don't think I'm a complete piece of shit. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, this is
Absolutely.
good.
Well, I mean, the reason why I bring up this stuff anyway is because I wanted for my viewers and any readers who've had similar things to know that it's actually a bit of a superpower. It's not something to be too afraid of, really, because we can do stuff a lot quicker and a lot more efficiently sometimes, you know.
Oh yeah, and also what happens is like I did it today. Basically, my bassist from my band Rick came over my front door. Right, we moved in like April, and over as it got colder, it's just so hard to open. So he came over and he shaved the underside of it and everything like
Yeah.
that. And he was like, "Cool, but you're gonna need to put some uh, primer
Right.
undercoat on it, right?" I was like, "Cool, I'll do that. I'll do that in a bit." And then I was like, "Okay, well, I've got to pick my son up from nursery this time. I've got to call, do that." And it's like I leave it so late,
Yeah, yeah,
and then I'm fine, and then I go, and I'm like a cool fucking snake, and
yeah.
I get the shit done, sort of
Boom,
thing like
boom.
that. But yeah, it's definitely this thing where I mean, personally, they have this thing called ADHD tax, right? Which is like stuff you forget. I came back the other day on a Friday, like, oh, I'm a lorry driver, right? I was like,
Yeah.
fine, I'm home. Here we go. And I open this thing, and it's like, you haven't paid your road tax for my car.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
constant, and it's not intentional. It's
Day
just,
lives. Yeah.
I mean, I'll go and get like a little while back, I went to get a Chinese, and I came back, and I was like, I forgot to get mine. Like I
Yeah.
literally just
I do that all the time, man. All the
yeah,
time.
and that's the thing is, especially now you can say it right because it's instant excuse through. If you got ADHD, like that is my ADHD, and what I'm better at now is separating that into a box of kind of be like, okay, this is me, this is my ADHD. Sometimes they cross over. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
for the good. Sometimes it's for the bad. Do you know what I mean? I mean, like, man, like, there was a lot of heavy partying and taking
Oh,
everything you
God,
shouldn't
yeah.
for a long time. And the thing is,
Yeah.
you can just sustain it with ADHD
Oh, God, yeah.
because you're getting fed. So like, and that's the problem is when you're with people maybe who aren't. and then they sort of peel off because they're like, I'm gonna die, and you're like, I'm just fucking getting started. Let's do, I've got like 4 out the drive now to get through before I even think about bed. Do you know what I mean?
You actually cover this on one of your songs, Which Way the Water Flows.
Yeah,
Am I right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That one's got something to do with it, and I mean that is really about kind of like I was sober for I think 2 years, 7 months, right? I had my kid and I was like, right, I need to, and that's tough on
Mm.
a relationship and everything, right? I was right. I need to make sure I've got nothing that like I am like Mr.
Mm.
Halo Saints thing. And then I got to this in the first years, I was like, man, I've done 1 year sober. This is great. I
Mm.
want to celebrate, and I can't do anything, right?
Yeah.
And then the second year sort of came about, and it didn't really, everyone's like, oh, cool, The first one, they're like, no one thought I could do it, right?
Yeah. Right.
And then I had an argument with my lawnmower, right? Where literally my lady had a family coming over, and I had like, this is long as my dick to get through, right? I'm like, right, I've got to do this. And I was like, I believe the lawn mowing there. And then
Right.
literally the bag kept falling off, right?
Right.
And within 15 seconds, I went from like, what the fuck, to like, I'm having a real beer. I'm good. And I never drank beer. I was always a
Yeah.
whiskey, a bourbon guy. And it had nothing to do with the alcohol. It was
Yeah.
just this like snap sort of thing. So then
Yeah.
I was like, oh, well, sort of got back in. But that song was written prior to me sort of back drinking. I'm still sort of like, now I think I'm just going to do what I want when I want kind of thing,
Right.
right? And try and, rein it in, right?
Yeah.
But that one was very much like, hey, it's what is it? It's the straight road's never ending. Kind of when
Yeah.
you're just on the straight and narrow the whole time, you're like I need someone to kind of be like, nah, man, you've earned this. You know, it
Yeah.
was like I was saying, please, someone drag me back into some level of debauchery because I
Yeah.
feel like kind of just being all good all the time is not good for my mental health thing.
Right.
And that's the thing you can kind of you can go each way something, but that was very much like kind of
Right.
about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's also topics on this record about the pressure of the modern day, societal expectations of you. You lay it all on the line. It's this very cathartic sounding EP. Is that the main function for your music for yourself? Like, is that your therapy? Is that your
Oh
catharsis?
yeah, man, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. I mean, like, so I went, like, I had a girlfriend when I was like 22 or something, and she was like, you are here, then you are there,
yeah,
and you don't know when it's going to go. You either the lowest of the low or kind of like really high. So
yeah,
I was like, fuck this, I'm going to go speak therapist sort of thing, because I got put on like the antidepressants, right? And I was like,
yeah, right,
and they take a while to kick in.
yeah,
And then I was like, yeah, I feel pretty good, but I feel like I may as well just be getting stoned. I kind of want to get to the bottom of this, right? And spoke with this therapist who's lovely, he's like a dear friend, something like that.
mm,
And she didn't pick up on the ADHD because like it's one of
yeah,
those things where it just didn't come up. And but I feel like kind of so much of like whatever it is I need to just get out
yeah,
is therapeutic for me. Where
yeah,
it's not like kind of like I want to be the guy on stage and I want this attention. Now, I mean, like, I'm at
yeah,
this beautiful point where I'm like this. I feel like there's no ego now, sort of thing.
yeah,
I want to do good for the band and everything
yeah,
like that, but I know kind of like um, it really is. I just want to get it out and just be
yeah.
like, "Blah," and then I mean, like the other day I went to get my haircut, my friend to barber, and he was like, whatever. It was like, hey John, like, do you remember that song I played? You thought was fucking shit. It was like, yeah, man, I was just screaming bollocks. He was like, this is the guy who was singing it, right? And I was like, dude, it's cool. And then the guy on the right, the other bar was like, oh, that's it. Was like, man, I love that because he was all like tatted up, and I was like, it's
Yeah,
cool too. You know what I mean, like that.
yeah, yeah,
But
man.
but yeah, it's just for me, it's very much just it's like the one thing I can do where kind of like when I was younger, I loved how much it hurt. I
Yeah,
loved it. I loved feeling like kind of I'd come out of it like I've I've torn my vocals to threads, and like I've given it everything, and as I've gotten older, I've realized kind of it's a bit like just smashing your head against the wall,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
But if I'm kind of like smarter with it, and I kind of like warm up and I kind of try and stay calm,
Yeah.
almost, a bit like a drummer kind of, if they're
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
super tense, which if they're just,
Yeah.
and it's about finding that kind of that
Groove.
groove and everything. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
but you might need to rein me in
Oh
sometimes.
no, 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 mate. Let your freak flag fly, mate. I don't care. So you've like you touched on it before. You've got ex-members of Polar, Hilda May, Outcry Collective yourself. Yeah. So how did this like crew come together? Was it all you played with each other in the past, or
I mean, I I did a song with Polo once, and so they were from like similar areas. So, and Apollo's had like many member changes. And like now I
yeah,
think Woody's the only member left in that band, and like original sort of member. And I got caught speeding, and I went to a speeding awareness. To be honest, I was fucking lucky because
yeah,
the camera flashed one week when I was stupid. Like drive, I'm a dad now. I wouldn't drive that quick, right? Like
right,
now, it was stupid. It was like
yeah,
2 a.m. There's no one, and I was like, right, I'm gonna beat my record home after work sort of thing. It was like a 20-minute drive, and I was like, and I was like, I'm definitely pushing it. I was like, bang! I was like, oh, and I went back to my um, my fiance, but we were just dating at the time, and her mum was like a Sunday, and she was drinking a glass of wine. I told her what happened. She was like, "Darling, I'll ask the angels." And I was like, "That doesn't really work with me." Well, it did. I didn't get caught for that. Then, like a week later, I got like 33 and a 30 or whatever it was, sent
right,
to this, you know, like a speed awareness course.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, there's a guy there called Tom who used to play in Young Guns, and
right,
then and I used to talk to them a lot. So he was like,
yeah,
dude, like, what are you doing here? And I was like, same thing as you. Then they were like, oh, you are in the wrong. You should have gone to like wherever, like Windsor, not High Wycombe. So and I would have lost my license.
right,
Luckily, another guy didn't show up. I did it, and we went for a drink. And Tom was like, "We should jam." And I was like, "Yeah, cool." And then from that, it's a segue. I think Tom did a few sessions, and then Nick was on drums, and Ollie was playing bass, and we moved to guitar. And then, well, okay, well, if it's just a three-piece, then we need. And it's just like, right, well, let's get Rick, and I love Rage Against the Machine. That's my favorite number one band, right?
right,
And I love the four-piece element, right?
yeah,
No, you need like we want a second guitarist, and I was like, oh well, I don't, well, who? And they were like Max, and I was like, all right, yeah, I love that dude.
yeah,
And that's kind of how it came about. We had a few sessions, COVID hit, and we just sort of like sending demos around, and like literally just like playing Warzone when we could and everything.
yeah,
And then from that we got we started recording, and then um, Aaron from Sleeps, who's now like a real good friend of mine. We work on films and stuff like that together.
yeah,
He recommended us Silent Cult. They picked us up, and it's just sort of like
yeah,
gone from there. But it like I'm the last person who thought I'd be back in the band now. It's just
right.
one of those things, what I mean, like that.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, yeah, you've toured with Young Guns, right?
Oh, Western State View.
Yeah,
Yeah. We
yeah,
did one tour with them of either last year or 23, I can't remember. But
yeah,
that was nuts because it was like we played like one show, and they're a sizable band still, and that
yeah,
was their coming back. But I think our second ever show was like 750, something like that.
yeah,
And I remember thinking kind of like, and that's what's so weird about ADHD, right? I was
yeah,
about to go on. I was like, how the fuck is this happening? And then
yeah,
also I was like, okay, why am I not nervous about this? But I'm petrified of trying to sell something on eBay.
yeah,
You know what I
right.
mean? Like it's
Yeah,
how,
totally.
yeah. But
I know.
awesome dudes. They smashed every night. Their crowd was really welcoming because we're not sort of young guns. Young guns have got a very different sound, but I think they
Yeah,
kind of got that. We were sort of just putting out what we were putting out. Being true to ourselves or whatever. And yeah, we had a real good time.
awesome, awesome. So, what's the plan for 2025 then? Now, you've got this EP coming out, and then what's beyond that?
So we got a show on the 25th, which
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure is when the EP gets released. I think
Right,
I might be wrong on that. It's around the same time. All right.
right, fair
Like
play.
I said, ADT, I might have the dates wrong.
Cool.
And then it will just be show because finally we will now have what, like 13 songs to sort of pick from. And the thing is
Yeah,
this, literally, man, we've got like 70 songs demoed, good to go for other recordings. It's just we just write so much
Oh,
that
that's good.
the new EP just happens to be the latest six or whatever it was, you
Yeah,
know. So it's just kind of, I mean, like it's just playing live. I mean, we're all jobs, all
yeah,
jobbers. We're all jobbers. We all got the jobs. So it's just fitting in when we can. If someone, like, we had to turn down something really big. It was a one-off show, it was a big show, and one of us was on holiday, and we were just like, if it wasn't meant to be, it wasn't meant to be. It's
yeah,
fine. And that's what's so cool, I think, about us all doing a second sort of shot at it
yeah,
all, is the fact that we're just enjoying stuff like this, man. Like
yeah, man.
literally, like, this is the most I've spoken about music in like a long time. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, it's just nothing but like good vibes. People having fun. And I can vouch for the other guys. They're all cool. There's not an asshole
Awesome.
amongst them, which must mean that I'm the asshole. There's always one out there. I must be him. Do you know what I mean?
Right now, since we're talking about music, this is a fairly new thing for me. My last question is always going to be this year, and it was a bit last year. If you had to if you had to pick one album that is on the national curriculum, every kid has to hear it before the age of 18, right? One album that you think would set you up for life, and it could be
Oh,
any genre, any
hey,
genre.
wow, that is such a good question. And am I allowed to discuss my options or just have to go with it?
You can just discuss
Okay,
your will.
all right. Well, my first ever album was Rage Against the Machine, self-titled. I remember I
Amazing.
got it in our price on like cassette, and I mean, for me, I remember putting it on because my friend's like cool brother recommended it, and thinking it was metal because it sounded metal to me because you had
Yeah,
like everything that's simple. Just to me, I was like, this must be metal. Do you know what I mean
yeah,
like that?
because it's
And
aggressive and raw.
yeah, and I was just like that. I mean, that is really it's good. It still sounds unbelievable. It's
Still sounds
still
amazing, doesn't it?
still sounds unbelievable. And I mean, you can't go wrong with that. But then then there's Evil Empire, and I would say, Rage Against the Machine, self-titled.
Absolutely. Back you up on that, mate.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I queued up to get that on the first day it came out on vinyl.
Oh, good man, good
I'd
man.
just seen them on The Word the night before.
The word, man. That was a great show, man.
We
That
need to
was
bring
a
back The Word, man.
Oh, that was great, man. I love the word.
Yeah, man.
Or refuse Shaper Punk to come. And the reason I'm saying that is because Rick wouldn't take any money for him coming out of his day. He's, proper carpenter. Like, to
Yeah,
come and refit my doors. And let me give you some cash. Nah, man. I was like, all right. I was like, let me give you vinyl. And I gave him the Shaper Punk to come on vinyl. I was like, come on, like this.
mate.
And he was like, I've got that at home. I was like, you lie, you don't. There you go. So yeah, yeah.
Fair play. Did you like the remixes, by the way?
I
Yeah.
did. I did also. If we're talking about remixes, when Deftones got a White Pony
Mm.
remix, there's a video for, I think it's Tourist's remix of
Yeah,
Chain, which I'm as a huge Deftones fan. Right
yeah,
now, the video, it's like beat stock footage from that video shoot. It's all in like HD. The song is nothing like the original, but I've really grown to like love it. But the videos is phenomenal. I love remixes, man. I
yeah.
love, like,
Oh, that's my ballpark. That is. I
yeah,
remix bands quite a lot.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
Or maybe,
Cool.
hey, there we go. Maybe you can remix one of ours.
I definitely would. Definitely would. Look up 601. Yeah, on
601.
Spotify.
601. Okay.
All right, bro. Right, well, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. The EP is on a knife's edge and it's out on Silent Cult on what did we say?
I want to say it's the 24th or 25th. It's end of January. It's something
End of
like
January.
that.
End of
Yeah.
January, that'll do it. And
End
and
of
this
January.
this will be out before that, and you'll all have to go buy it. Oh, I had to ask you, your producer. Oz Craggs from Feed the Rhino. There's a bit of a
Yeah.
connection with you guys, isn't there? Feed the Rhino and your band.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
I mean, it's his 40th birthday on Saturday, and today my band has booked the Airbnb. We're going down to Folkestone. He knows we're coming, and we're just going
Right.
to celebrate him. He's just absolute, yeah, he's the best. And like everything he puts out, produce wise, is good. So if there's any bands watching, um, yeah, he's a man. Hidden Track Studios down in Folkestone.
So I'll sign off with a happy birthday to him.
Yes,
All right, bro. It's been amazing talking to you today.
you too, George.
Take
Pleasure.
care, bro.